Today we're going to talk about moon phases and eclipses. All right, so how are the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon related? As the Earth revolves around the Sun, the Moon also revolves around the Earth. So we know that it takes the Earth 365 days to go all the way around from one position back to that same position. While that is occurring, the Moon is also revolving around the Earth. And the reason both of those things occur is because of gravity. The gravity keeps both objects in orbit. Remember back to the first video when we were talking about centripetal force on gravity, and we were talking about how the inertia moves the object forward, but the gravity causes it to stay in that curved motion because it pulls it back? This would be that curved motion, the pattern of orbit or revolution. All right, objects that orbit other objects are known as satellites. There are two types of satellites. This is often going to be referred to as a satellite. This is a natural satellite, meaning it orbits on its own. A satellite that we might put into space is an object that is man-made. It's known as a man-made or artificial satellite, and they also orbit, but that's because we have put them there. Moon phases. There's something called the lunar phase or lunar phases. As the moon revolves around the Earth in that circular pattern of orbit, the position of the sunlit side of the moon that you view here on Earth is going to change. The different shapes are known as the lunar phase or lunar phases. The entire lunar cycle takes about 1 month. That really being said, it takes 29.5 days, but think about that. That's a day and a half longer than the shortest month, half a day shorter than some months, and a day and a half shorter than others, because some months have 31 days. So it's approximately 1 month. Now there are two important terms you need to know. The first one is waxing, right here, and the second one is waning. Then they are opposites. Waxing is going to talk about the certain half of the moon phases, and waning is going to talk about the other certain half. So if we're in a waxing phase, we are gaining light. We are getting bigger, growing, okay? And if we are waning, or in any of the waning phases, we are losing light because we are getting smaller. The image right here is going through those motions completely continuous, so you can see the entire cycle as it moves. All right, so we start with the new moon, and that's when you see absolutely no moon in the sky because the moon appears to be dark or not there. Then as we start to grow, we light from the right. That's a quick way to remember. You might want to jot that on your paper, light from the right. So we're going to start with our waxing crescent. We're waxing because we're growing or gaining light. Then we go to our first quarter. That's where we're halfway lit up to the waxing gibbous. Gibbous means swollen, so it almost looks like it's puffed up or swollen when it's in the waxing gibbous, but notice we're still on the right side. We light from the right, we grow from the right, we gain from the right. Then we grow all the way full and we become the full moon. That's when the entire moon appears to be illuminated. Then we're going to start the waning phases and we're going to lose light. So the waning gibbous is where we're still looking swollen, but we're shrinking because we're losing light. So now we're lit on the left side. The last quarter is on the left side, last quarter left side. It's also referred to as the third quarter. And then we have the waning crescent, which is going to be lit on the left side as well. And then we go back from waning crescent all the way back up here to new moon. All right, breaking it down. New moon is when the moon lies between the sun and the earth, and that's why it appears to be dark. The side facing earth is dark because the moon is not visible. The only way you see the moon during the new moon phase is if we are in a solar eclipse. All right, the waxing crescent is the next phase. It's when less than a quarter of the moon is visible. Again, lighting from the right, you light from the right. The visible part is slowly becoming larger and it appears kind of like a backwards C. You will see the moon from the right side with the light. Backwards C shape. All right, the first quarter is when the moon forms a 90-degree angle with the sun and the earth. Okay, they're 90 degrees is when they basically form an L shape, okay? And the right half of the moon is visible, the light half. The right's on the light, okay? Light's on the right. Left half is completely dark and they are equal. The waxing gibbous is the last stage where we are growing or gaining light. It's close to the moon's visibility being full. and more than a quarter is visible now on Earth, meaning you see almost all of it, but not quite. There's a slight darkness over here that would make the whole thing be a perfect circle. Once we pass the gibbous stage of swollenness, we are at the full moon, and that is when the moon is aligned with the sun and the earth is in the middle. So it is sun, earth, and moon. The entire side of the moon facing earth is bright and visible, so you can see it. All right, so now we're into the waning, and the waning means we're losing light. So in the waning gibbous, we're still appearing swollen, almost full, but now we're shrinking. More than a quarter is visible. The far right side is dark, and the visible portion is becoming smaller. All right, the last quarter, again, also referred to as the third quarter, is when the moon, sun, and earth form a 90-degree angle. So the side facing earth is half dark and half bright. The visible part will slowly get smaller, and the visible part is the left side with the right falling in darkness. So the last quarter is lit on the left. That's a lot of L's. Last quarter, lit, and left. The waning crescent is the smallest phase visible before we hit the new moon peak again. Less than a quarter is visible. The visible part is getting smaller as we're going towards the new moon. Only the sliver on the left side is visible, and it does look kind of like the letter C. All right, there are two views when you are looking at moon phases. The sun is always going to be the most important factor because depending on where the sun is, depends on how the view is appeared to be drawn or illuminated. So we're going to look at this view first, the one on the outside, the new moon, the waxing crescent, because we light from the right. We always travel counterclockwise. The first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the full moon, the waning gibbous, the third quarter, and the waning crescent. Those are what you would see if you were here on Earth in the night sky. Again, note that it's dark here because the sunlight is going to technically be on this back half of the Earth, so you see the side that's actually dark. Which leads me to the next point. This right here, where you see the 8 phases that appear to be drawn the exact same, there's a reason for that. That's the view from space. If you are in space, the Earth, the moon, and the sun aren't necessarily changing positions or locations. Yes, they are still in motion, but they're always in motion kind of simultaneously, so you're always going to continue to see one side, and that one side will always be illuminated. So if they align between the Earth, the moon, and the sun, you know that this half, as with all of the halves, are lit. That is because the sun is on the right. If the sun had been drawn on the left, the side that's actually drawn in darkness in this picture would have had to be illuminated, and the right side would have been dark. Same with if it was at the top or if it was at the bottom. The sunlight location tells you everything. That's why over here you see the full moon. This half, the right side, is actually bright, which would be the side you would see here on Earth. All right, there are 2 major types of eclipses. Lunar eclipse is the first one. This is when the moon passes into the shadow of the Earth. There's an image down here. You can watch it. The moon literally goes into the shadow and it's completely cast in darkness. Okay, this is going to occur during a full moon only, and that's because they align perfectly when this occurs. It doesn't happen every time though, because technically the moon is on an angle just like the Earth is on a tilt. Because of that, every month when we have our new moon and our full moon, eclipses do not occur. Okay, now we have 2 parts to this shadow. We have the penumbra. We have 2 of those, and then we have 1 umbra. The umbra is going to be the part that's the total darkness. It's the total full eclipse. In a lunar eclipse, there is always an umbra, and it's the part where the moon goes behind. That's why it gives it that reddish tint. The penumbra is the part that's a partial eclipse, but in this case, there is no partial eclipse except in the leading event up to it and the events that lead away from it. So when it's in the umbra is when you're in the full total darkness. Now the solar eclipse is the opposite. It's going to occur when the sun, the sun, the moon, and the Earth align in a straight line just like the other one. But note now that the Earth is being blocked out because of the moon. The difference is this blocks only a small portion of it, whereas the moon, we're going to flip back for a second, the moon is cast completely because the Earth is larger than it. So it hides the moon in the total umbra. But here, the umbra is going to be very small. That dark black spot that you see right here, it's only a very small part of Earth. So the moon's going to come between the Earth and the sun, and the moon is going to cast a shadow. When it does, it's going to only occur during the new moon. That's why the only time you can see the moon is during a new moon if you are having a solar eclipse. The umbra is only a few kilometers across, and they're very rare for you to actually see totality, which would mean you're in that umbra part. Solar eclipses occur roughly every 1 to 2 years, but most of the time they actually occur and fall over water, so a lot of land does not ever actually get to see them. One important thing to know is that you should never look at a solar eclipse without proper eye protection because you could go blind. It can literally burn your retinas. I was on the campus of Clemson University when the solar eclipse happened a few years ago. This is what it appeared during totality. This was during the full solar eclipse. As you can see, it appeared dark. All the lights in the buildings came on, and all the crickets and cicadas were chirping. All right, that's all for today.